Hey, what's going on, folks? This is Keith and you're watching Barber's Auto Help. Thank you so much for watching. I've got kind of a case study for you here today. I've got this 2011 Ford F150 and it had a couple of symptoms. Actually, I had several symptoms, but in this video, we're going to be covering the two symptoms that were present concerning this particular door right here. So what was going on is the door ajar light was staying on even though the door was shut. Also, the window, the driver's side window wasn't working, and also both the driver's side and passenger side rear windows weren't operating as well. Now, funny thing is, from the master switch here, the passenger side front window would work, but every other window in the vehicle wouldn't work with the master switch here. So let me go ahead and get into this. I'll take you along the diagnostic path that I chose and show you how I came to my conclusion and what the fix was. This is actually a pretty common problem, not just for F-150s, but for vehicles in general. I've seen this a lot. So be sure to watch all the way through, find out what I found. So starting out, it's not a bad idea to always check your fuses before you get too deep into anything. A lot of times it's something simple like a blown fuse. And this particular fuse panel right here, this is the body control module, and it has all the fuses that control things on the inside of the vehicle here. There's also another fuse panel up underneath the hood. Right from the get-go, I didn't assume that this had like a blown fuse or anything. I assumed that it had a common problem, but I wasn't suspecting a blown fuse. But either way, it's never a bad idea to go ahead and check your fuses first. And of course, the underhood fuse panel is right here up underneath the hood. Open that up there, and that has all your fuses and a bunch of your relays in there for the underhood fuse panel. So next course of action I took, of course, was to find out why the door ajar light was staying on all the time, even though the door was shut. Now, the door ajar switch is actually a part of the door latch. So I went ahead and removed the door panel here and removed the film on the back side of it to gain access to the connector going to the door ajar switch and the door latch. Of course, once I gained access to the connector there, I could then probe the wires concerning the door ajar switch. Now, the door ajar switch, the power feed to it is the green violet wire on pin 5 in this particular connector right here, and the ground for it is the black violet wire on pin 6 of this connector right here. So what I did is, the way that the door ajar switch works is if it's closed, the circuit is completed to ground. So that power goes directly to ground and it shuts the light off. So with it disconnected, of course, the door ajar switch or the door ajar light is going to be on. But if you take and ground out pin 5, the door ajar light should go out if your power feed wire is okay to that particular connector right there. Now, I did test for voltage on that pin there, and I did have a full 12 volts at that pin. So that's probably a good indicator that the circuit is okay. That's not foolproof, but that's just an indicator that maybe you got good continuity on that wire there. So I went ahead and took a jumper, put it into pin 5, and then I took the other end of the jumper and I grounded it out on the door jamb over there. And once I grounded it out, I found that the light went out. So right off the bat, I know that the power feed circuit from the body control module to that particular connector is okay. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, now I either have a bad door ajar switch, which is inside the door latch, or I possibly have a bad ground. So naturally, the next thing I did is I took the same jumper and I jumpered pin 5 and pin 6 on that connector and simulated a closed door ajar switch. Well, once I jumped it, the light was still on. So that's telling me that I've probably got a bad ground. So I tested the resistance on pin 6 to ground, and sure enough, it's an open circuit. There's no continuity on the ground wire. So now I know I've either got a broken or bad ground in some way. So I got to figure out why that is. Now, from experience, I know that the wire loom right here that goes between the body and the door, it's a really common issue for the wires inside there to break apart, get chafed, and come apart. So that's the next thing that I checked out on this, and come to find out, whenever I moved the loom back, I found that the black and violet wire, which is the ground wire for the door ajar switch, was in fact broken. Now, come to find out that that black and violet wire there's a splice inside there. There's also a black and violet wire that comes off of that splice and goes up to the master window switch. So those two things, the door jar switch and the window switch, share the same ground. So I knew that that probably was the cause of both of my issues there. So I went ahead and did a wire repair, spliced in a new section of wire there, butt connected it, soldered it, heat shrinked it, and put it all back together. And sure enough, now my window works on the driver's side, my two windows in the rear work, and also when I shut the door jar light goes out. So that was the fix to this particular problem here. Now, like I said, this is actually a common problem between many manufacturers out there. Though this is a Ford, I've seen this on Chevrolets, I've seen this on other vehicles too. This isn't just a Ford thing. It's pretty common for wires to kind of snap or chafe in between the body and the door where that little piece of loom goes between them. So if you're having any kind of symptoms with your door as far as your electronics are concerned, or your side view mirror is concerned, your door lock actuators, etc. If you're having any kind of issue out here, it is plausible that you might have a broken wire between the body and the door there. So move that loom back and inspect those wires and see if you see any broken wires, and if so, repair them as needed. So folks, this video should help a bunch of people out there. I sincerely hope so anyway. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Also, before you apply any of this knowledge or attempt any repairs, please read the entire description of this video down below this video. I may have some things to clarify. That's where I do that. And also, please read the disclaimer at the very end of it as well. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a good one.